Using T-Mobile is like paying for this, but getting that. And so much more. More 5G bars in more places. More savings so your family saves 20% versus the other guys. And we won't raise the price of your rate plan with our Price Lock Guarantee. Get more with T-Mobile. More 5G coverage, more savings, and even more cool stuff.
New Degree Advanced. First ever 72-hour nonstop protection with Motion Sense. Test it to the limit.
Still feeling dry and fresh.
Superior 72-hour nonstop protection, however much you move.
I'll see you later, all right? That is so cool.
Elliot Stabler is undercover, Frank.
I think we do what we always do with a rat. Exterminate him.
It's time to take him down.
I didn't want to do this, man.
I don't see her making it through the night. I think it's time to start saying goodbyes.
I don't know what I want to say to her. I want to get it right.
You will. You always do.
This Is Us, the final chapter. Tuesday night, 8 Central on NBC.
Later, Jimmy Fallon welcomes Post Malone. NBC Tonight.
Right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Heat breaks, but that change comes with a rain chance. How that could impact your weekend outdoor plans.
Searching for food. Parents nationwide struggling to feed their babies due to the formula shortage. What the state of Missouri says you should do. But first,
it's literally hell in itself.
Inmates revolted over the conditions inside the City Justice Center. Now, 1 year later, the I-Team looks into why some necessary changes have not been made. Inmates breaking windows, setting fires, and throwing furniture out of St. Louis's downtown jail. These images, more than 12 months later, are still hard to forget. Good evening, I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Those riots put our city in the national spotlight for all the wrong reasons. And tonight, the I-Team's Christine Byers finds out if anything's been done to keep those riots from happening again.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's literally hell in itself.
This woman is talking about her partner's experience at the City Justice Center in downtown St. Louis.
I just remember him saying, if something happens, you know, just that thought, just not even hearing from him again. You just don't know when.
Especially on the days when images like this led the evening news, and she learned the locks weren't working on the cells.
What is that like to be in a jail where the locks don't work?
We probably have to stay awake 24/7 because you don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of innocent people if they're still waiting trial.
City leaders insist progress has been made during the years since the riots. Just last week, Corrections Commissioner Jennifer Clemens Abdullah unveiled a newly renovated third floor with locks that work.
They all know it needed improvement. It took 4 riots.
A civilian task force report came out about a month after the last riot. The woman we spoke to agreed with several key recommendations, including repairing the locks, hiring more corrections officers, moving cases faster through the system, and boosting inmate morale. We took them to the Corrections Commissioner to get a progress report.
What is the timeline to get all the locks working?
I can't commit to a timeline, only because supply chain issues.
So with moving detainees into those cells with new locks last week, this recommendation is only about halfway done.
We're looking to hire anywhere between 30 and 50 new staff.
That makes the hiring category status quo. The woman we spoke to also said inmates rioted because of slowdowns at the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office during the pandemic.
They've had enough. You're sitting here waiting trial for so long that they're not even convicted. They're charged just waiting.
In March of 2021, St. Louis Public Defender Matthew Mahaffey said people were waiting an average of 146 days in jail for probable cause hearings.
The last numbers we got in October of 21 said that it is worse. It was now 178 days at that point.
Mahaffey said people should get hearings within 30 to 60 days, and sitting in jail for months takes a toll.
Things like rent being foregone, car payments, the ability to have a job, where they can live.
Gardner's office issued a statement saying in part it is dedicated to ensuring the safety of witnesses, victims, and the public while balancing the rights of the accused in an effort to seek justice. The moving cases faster category got worse. As for inmate morale, Abdullah Clemens said she created a more nutritional menu and new technology will help too.
We're giving the inmates, the detainees, radios so they can listen to the TV.
Boosting inmate morale? Progress. For detainees and their loved ones, any change is a step in the right direction.
It's a start. I think they got a long way to go.
And Christine joins us live from outside the City Justice Center. Christine, do we know how much it's going to cost taxpayers?
Well, and the corrections commissioner tells me that it's going to take about $20 million to do the entire facility and get all those locks functional, and they've spent about $9 million of it so far.
And Christine, there was also talk of hiring private security guards to help with this staffing shortage. Where does that stand?
Well, Mike, that was supposed to be a temporary fix, but just yesterday, the mayor's office told us that they're still having about 10 security guards working there at a cost of about $100,000 a month for taxpayers.
And the woman you interviewed, did she say anything about the closure of the city's other jail, the medium security?
Sure, the closure of that facility that happened last summer, she called it a major upheaval, and there's about 24 women that are still housed in that facility today. Mike and Ann, back to you.
All right, Christine, thanks. Well, another hot, hazy, and humid night across St. Louis. We broke another record today. Will we make it 3 straight days of record high temperatures? Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
Well, you know, we had the hottest temperature so early in the season yesterday at 94. We were not able to get quite that warm this afternoon or quite as humid as we were yesterday. But nonetheless, with all the sunshine we saw around St. Louis, and as you look at the sun setting over the St. Louis sky this evening around the metro area, nearly clear. 90 on Tuesday, that wasn't a record. 94 yesterday was, and 93 today was. But the heat index today wasn't quite as bad as it was yesterday because our dew points backed off a little bit. As you look at the temperatures right now, most of us are in the low 80s around the St. Louis area. Now, when you look off to the east of St. Louis, you actually see a few clouds that are moving back towards the west. You know, those thunderstorms stick out farther in Kansas, but what's coming at us from the east, this is pretty interesting. We actually have a little front that's over here trying to drift back towards St. Louis, and the air is drier off to our east. So tomorrow, the humidity levels won't be as high. The heat is going to break as we go into the weekend, but some of that active weather out to the west, that's going to try to drift our way. So scattered showers and storms, best chances look to be later tomorrow, especially in the evening and overnight. And then again later on Sunday. We'll get into more of that in just a few minutes.
Chasing the Cup, sponsored by Car Shield.
Let's go Blues. A win in Game 6 tonight will clinch a series win against the Minnesota Wild.
And right now the Blues are up 2-0 in the second period. That game is being played on home ice. Our Michelle Lee is live outside Enterprise Center with all the fan excitement. Michelle.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the weather has cooled down a little bit, but the Blues seem to be on fire. I mean, what a great night for fans out here. Earlier, it was just a sea of blue at Enterprise Center.
Let's go Blues!
There we go. Well, there are certainly a lot of people out here cheering on the Blues. Of course, you know, they love the team, but they really love the playoffs, right? We actually talked to a person who has the team tattooed on his arm. But certainly, you know, we talked to a lot of people who just love the team and are so excited to get to where they are. They said, you know, sometimes the Blues just give them a hard time, give them a run for their money, so to speak, during the season, but they're so happy to be here and they're just so proud.
Oh, I think they've been great. You know, I think offensively, they're as good as anybody. The goaltending is great, and defense, if you can keep them healthy, I mean, they're a great team.
Absolutely resilient, you know, despite the injuries, they keep coming back.
Yeah, that's right. And so a lot of people also say do not compare this team to the 2019 team because that team was special and they went all the way. Nonetheless, a lot of people, of course, getting excited. So here's what I know about sports, Mike and Ann. I know that if they win tonight, they get a couple of days off. They get to start the round 2 and go to Colorado. If they lose, they've got to go back up to Minnesota. But I am predicting a win tonight. Again, 2-0. We'll keep you posted. We're live downtown. Michelle Lee, 5 on your side. I'm an expert at sports, you know?
Of course you are. Let's hope your prediction comes through. Thanks, Michelle. And stay with 5 on your side as we cover the Blues' chase for the Cup. For the latest on the playoffs and what's next, just text the word Blues to 314-425-5355.
Mike, take notes. You can learn from her. Tomorrow is the deadline for state lawmakers in Jefferson City to pass new bills. But tonight, 2 major pieces of legislation are headed to Governor Mike Parson's desk. Just a few hours ago, the state Senate approved a new congressional redistricting map. That'll keep 6 Republican stronghold districts and 2 Democratic majority districts. This ends a months-long stalemate on redistricting and avoids having the courts draw the map. State lawmakers also passed a bill that would require Missouri voters to show a government photo ID at the polls. It would also allow 2 weeks of no-excuse absentee voting. That bill still needs Governor Parson's signature. Tomorrow will be the end of an era for an Illinois institution. That's when Lincoln College will close its doors for good after 157 years.
The pandemic and a ransomware attack prompted this decision. Our Brent Solomon just caught up with a St. Louis man who graduated from Lincoln about this end of an era.
Yeah, he certainly did. Corey Allen admits it doesn't feel real. Imagine the memories made, the hope of sharing those with future generations, and returning to campus as an alum. No longer a reality for those who attended Lincoln College.
Since 1865, Lincoln College in Lincoln, Illinois has fulfilled a mission.
They actually really cared about each student there.
Just ask Corey Allen, the 27-year-old who lives in St. Louis, graduated from Lincoln in 2015.
Professors at times were there until 8 and 9 o'clock at night, hosting tutoring sessions for math, writing, and everything. Those professors really went out of their way to make sure everyone was prepared.
Friday will be the college's last day in operation. This is video of students writing their names on the walls of one of the oldest buildings on campus as they hope to leave a legacy.
I really wish there was people that we could have found to save it. It was too late.
School officials say the pandemic impacted their ability to recruit and fundraise for the private college. On top of that, a cyber attack last December hindered access to important school data, making it hard to admit new students. This Facebook group, called Save Lincoln College, tried unsuccessfully to help the school keep its doors open. The school, named after President Abraham Lincoln, held its final graduation last week.
A couple of days ago, when everybody started leaving, we said our goodbyes, but we kind of realized that we are not coming back.
Allen, who ran track for the college, feels for not only his fellow alumni, but also students who were attending the college when officials made the decision.
Other universities are offering them tuition and allowing them to start into the programs there, but there's never going to be a place like Lincoln.
School officials say Lincoln survived many difficult times. The economic crisis of 1887, a huge fire on campus in 1912, the Spanish flu 6 years later. But the last couple of years would prove to be the toughest challenge of all.
Lindenwood University is now paying more than $1 million back to thousands of students. Students filed a class action lawsuit after their in-person classes were moved online during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The students argued the university charges less for virtual instruction. Each of the 6,000 students will receive roughly $185.
Work on the Blanchette Bridge has been delayed again. Crews are supposed to start work tonight, applying epoxy to the eastbound lanes of I-70 from St. Charles to St. Louis County. MoDOT says it's still dealing with staffing and equipment issues. And with chances of storms this weekend, the project could be delayed until next week.
People should never be worried about feeding their children. This is ridiculous.
Parents desperate to find baby formula for their infants. The actions being taken by the White House tonight. The warning from local health officials. College athletes on a team bus pulled over and searched for drugs. Police say it was routine. Others are calling it racial profiling.
The severe weather threat mostly missing the St. Louis area as we head into the weekend, but many of us do have a chance of at least hearing some thunder. We'll break down those chances for the weekend ahead.
Tonight, parents are left in a desperate hunt for infant formula. This as a nationwide shortage worsens. Tonight, the White House is under growing pressure to act.
Message to parents is we hear you, we want to do everything we can, and we're going to cut every element of red tape.
Just hours ago, President Biden met with baby food manufacturers and retailers. His administration is now considering the use of the Defense Production Act. The president also asked the CEOs of Target and Walmart on what can be done to help restock shelves and address regional disparities in distribution. Missouri is one of 6 states hit hardest by this shortage.
And tonight, many local parents are scrambling to find the nutrition their babies need. Robert Townsend is here with a warning for parents from St. Louis County health officials. Robert?
Mike and Ann, health officials say right now St. Louis County is experiencing shortages of baby formula that we are seeing across the country. Now, as a result, health officials are doing everything they can to help parents navigate through the shortages. The Missouri Department of Public Health and Senior Services has come up with a do's and don'ts list for parents. They say do feed your baby over 6 months old more baby food and less formula. Do wean your babies over 12 months old off formula. Now, health officials say don't hoard formula and only keep a month's supply at the most. They also say don't make homemade formula because that may have a negative impact on infant growth, even be life-threatening. And of course, don't water down your baby's formula to make it last longer.
Really, we want to be encouraging families to understand that there are other types of brands of formula, and perhaps just because your brand may not be there at your local grocery store or drugstore, that understanding that all infant formulas are FDA regulated and most are safe for most babies.
State health officials also urge parents and caregivers to avoid using baby formula beyond its expiration date. Now, they also say be cautious when you buy formula online, especially if you are not familiar with the supplier.
Robert, thanks. A routine traffic stop or racial profiling? A bus carrying a women's lacrosse team was pulled over last month, and now some are questioning why. The team from Delaware State University, an historically black college, was driving back from a match when officers pulled the bus over for a lane violation. Then they saw the girls and started going through their luggage, telling them if there was something questionable, they needed to speak up. They didn't find anything.
I think they came on the bus, saw that we were a majority black team, and just assumed that we had drugs on us.
I do not exercise racial profiling, allow racial profiling, or encourage racial profiling. For what I have gathered, I believe that the stop was legal.
The Sheriff's Department says other vehicles were searched. The State Attorney General is calling on the DOJ to investigate. Tonight, a large grain silo in central Illinois is on the verge of collapse. This grain elevator in Peoria exploded last night. Firefighters believe it was sparked by grain dust. No employees were hurt. The estimated damages are more than $2 million.
30-mile-per-hour winds and dry drought conditions are flaming a fire along the Southern California coast. Multi-million-dollar homes have been destroyed. Most of the damage was in one neighborhood outside Laguna Beach. Authorities believe the fire could have been started by a power company. A powerful storm packing 105-mile-per-hour winds is hitting parts of the upper Midwest and eastern plains. That is the same as Category 2 hurricane winds. This is a dust storm happening in Nebraska. More than 20 million people are under some kind of a severe weather threat right now. The National Weather Center says the storms could cause tornadoes, even drop hail up to 2 inches wide in parts of South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, and Nebraska.
And Scott, we were talking about that dust storm off camera. It is something to see.
It was pretty amazing. The pictures coming out of the National Weather Service office up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and people posting on Twitter too. It got pitch black at 5 o'clock this afternoon up there. You had a derecho just rolling on through with the strong winds. That's an area of thunderstorms that's on the ground producing substantial wind damage for quite a path. And that's what we saw today develop across Nebraska into South Dakota and then heading on up into Minnesota. Just look at all the wind reports. And these weren't just 55, 60 mile per hour winds. A lot of these reports were winds 90 miles an hour, 100 miles per hour, gusts over 100 miles per hour. Quite a bit of damage in this area. Fortunately, the crops aren't up yet because of the weather conditions kind of hindering things. Had we been another month into the season and the growing season underway, that would have wiped out a corn crop up there. There are still other thunderstorms. They're pretty intense tonight across parts of Nebraska and Kansas, and a few developing out here just to the west of Topeka, keeping our eyes on those. Later tonight, some of those clouds will try to develop towards us, and we'll see tomorrow just how much rain chance there really is. Most of it's going to be during the evening. Right now it feels like 89 still in St. Louis, 85 degrees, but the dew points have dropped back into the upper 60s for us in St. Louis. That's where our temperatures will be, except where the air is drier farther east. You're looking at lows close to 60 tomorrow morning, kind of being refreshing there. Now, by morning time, we do expect to see a few clouds, maybe even a couple of spot showers late morning, early afternoon. That's from that leading edge that's out there in Kansas kind of filtering our way. Most of the thunderstorms we see, they'll be scattered. They'll pop up late in the afternoon into the evening. And then as we head towards midnight tomorrow night, they'll start to fade out. And the focus then shifts farther south and east of St. Louis during the day on Saturday. So most of Saturday is probably dry around the metro area. Again, we'll be tracking showers and thunderstorms off to our far northwest. That's what we may get into heading into Sunday. We do think Sunday starts quiet. Through the midday hours, we'll warm up back into the lower 80s for highs, clouds on the increase, and then the chance for scattered thunderstorms heading into Sunday evening. Could we have a stronger storm or two? It's certainly possible as we head into tomorrow evening, especially west of St. Louis. But something like we saw up in South Dakota and in Nebraska, up into Minnesota, northwest Iowa, that's not going to happen for us tomorrow or anytime soon for that matter. Slim chances for storms Saturday, a little better chance on Sunday. We get into next week, we're around 80 for the afternoon highs. By the way, Sunday night we have a total lunar eclipse, and that will start as we head towards our 10 o'clock news. It really starts to peak at about 10:29. You may get a good glimpse at this if the clouds break up and we move that weather system along. Lunar eclipse, it's kind of the blood flower moon, if you will.
Cool. Have to look for it. Scott, thank you. Sports is next.
A major championship winner is coming to our town to play golf. The biggest auto race ever for our town is right around the corner. Cardinals can't beat the Orioles, and I think the Blues are going to beat the Wild. Stick around, please.
Chasing the Cup, sponsored by CarShield.
What a series. Heading into Game 6, the Blues had outscored the Wild by 2, and they had exactly one more shot than them. Well, how about this? This is a really even series. Let's pick up the highlights. Adam Wainwright banged the drum wearing Jordan Binnington's jersey. That's the lucky tie. Craig Berube's now going to be 4-0 wearing that tie. Late first period, Nick Leddy with a slick goal to beat Cam Talbot. All I can say is, Doug Armstrong, thanks for making that trade. Second period, power play time. Braden Shen to Ryan O'Reilly. That made it 2-0. Tyler Bozak has scored, and Vladimir Tarasenko has scored. It's 4-0. Late in the second period. I wish I could say something good about the Cardinals tonight. Well, I guess Waino coming back to pitch this weekend and Nolan Gorman hitting his 13th homer for Memphis is good. But when you lose a series to the Baltimore Orioles at home, there's really nothing more to say. Steven Matz went 6 2/3 and kept the Cardinals in the game, but he had trouble keeping the ball in the park. Anthony Ben-Boom yanks this one to right near the foul pole, stays fair, Orioles up 2-0. It was 3-0 in the seventh when Dylan Carlson plays long ball. It will get out of here, 403 feet, make it 3-1. It was 3-2 in the eighth inning, tying run at third. Juan Yepes has been money this week and sends it to right field, but it's not going to be deep enough. Then in the ninth, runner at first, Carlson loops it into no man's land, but the catch is made and Tyler O'Neill is doubled off. The O's win the series, winning 3-2 today.
There's guys taking good at-bats and there are guys that aren't right now. And in order for this to click and go the direction that we needed to go, there's more guys have to contribute. That's just the bottom line. But there's certain guys taking really good at-bats right now. And our hope is that it starts to click.
It was huge for me to come out of the gate and feeling good today. That was something I, wanted to go deep in, go deeper into games, and so we were efficient early. And unfortunately, one pitch is kind of overshadowing the rest of the outing for me.
The Ascension Charity Classic was one of the great sporting events of 2021 in our town. Record-breaking crowds at Norwood Hills Country Club, incredible golf with the Champions Tour, and it's getting better. Former British Open champion Justin Leonard turns 50 in June. He will play in the tourney in September. He just committed. And how about this? The Celebrity Challenge match, Hall of Famers Lee Trevino, Nancy Lopez, they'll compete with Ozzie Smith, Hale Irwin, and Craig Berube. Speaking of great events, the Enjoy Illinois 300 is coming on June 5th to Worldwide Technology Raceway. It will be the biggest single day of racing in St. Louis sports history, a NASCAR Cup Series event in our town with the world watching on TV and about 50,000 watching at the track.
Curtis Francois, the owner, he's going above and beyond to make sure that we deliver a wow factor. When people show up, whether it's for the first time or whether it's for the 50th time, they see what's going on and they're excited about it. So our goal is to get everybody in, give them a great, entertaining weekend of racing and other things that we have going on. And we can show that momentum because NASCAR, they came in, they've given us some pretty lofty expectations. All the reports we're getting so far is they're really pleased with what they've seen.
And I should say the Blues, if they finish this thing out today, which they should, they will likely open up Monday in Colorado in round 2.
Against the tough Avalanche.
Yep.
All right, Frank, thanks.
Anheuser-Busch supports the Cardinals and the Blues. Well, now it's backing our new MLS team in a ultra way. You can enjoy Eckert's fresh produce without crossing the Mississippi River. Today, Eckert's Farms opened a pop-up market in Rock Hill. It will be open daily from 9 until 6 through August 28th. It's located off Manchester near McKnight.
Our Hometown Brew is partnering with our new hometown team, St. Louis City SC, announcing a new sponsorship with Anheuser-Busch today. As part of the deal, AB is naming a 14,000 square foot fan space at Centene Stadium, the Ultra Club. It will provide 360-degree views of the city and the soccer field and a huge bar serving AB products.
You might see some superheroes in downtown St. Louis this weekend. Tens of thousands of comic and sci-fi fans are expected to descend on America Center for the first Fan Expo. That kicks off tomorrow and runs all weekend through Sunday.
You know who will be in town for the Fan Expo?
Is this a joke?
No. Seriously, Captain Kirk. William Shatner's going to be in town. Are you excited?
Oh, you're serious?
I'm totally serious.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. Do you know who he is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.